5 players I'm officially worried about having on my fantasy football roster rest of the season. You can call this a trade away video, call it whatever you want. We're going to look at some of the data, some of the stats, talk about whether these players can turn it around. Thank you guys for being here. I truly, genuinely appreciate it. If you like the video, like it. It really helps the video out. Subscribe if you want to catch more of this stuff, man. Let's get into this video. We start from the top. All right, man, we start this video with Brian Thomas Jr., probably one of the biggest busts in fantasy football. One singular game over 11 fantasy points on the season. It's actually kind of insane how bad he's been, man. 1 touchdown, right? He only has 1 game over 90. I mean, he has a game with 90 yards. So he leads the NFL with 7 drops, 50% catch rate on the season. Oh my God, dude. It just gets worse and worse, man. The more you dive into the data and the advanced metrics, you just keep finding more and more things to hate about him, man. I traded this man away last week. I wanted him off my team. The way I view him is like literally a boom bust wide receiver 4. So I traded him away from my team, dude. A weight has been lifted from my shoulders, man. The sun shined here in Germany. It's November. We literally had like a warm day the day after I traded this man away, dude. The birds were chirping. I had the perfect ratio of cream and sugar in my coffee in the morning. Just things are turning around, man. Food has better taste and better flavors. Life is great ever since I traded him away because now I don't have to start him, man. I want to say this, dude. He can be great. He can have a game where he pops off, catches a deep bomb touchdown. Maybe gets gets rid of the heebie-jeebies, right? This injury could be time that he can like reset, get away from football. I thought it'd be the bye week, right? After that horrific Rams game, then they had the bye. Then they had Vegas coming out of the bye. And he was fucking dog shit, dude. 7 fantasy points. It's just brutal right now. I honestly think the problem with him has really been injuries, dude. It started with the injuries. It then became mental, it seems. He had the wrist injury. He had the shoulder, the ankle. He got like popped really badly down the middle of the field, I think in preseason or maybe in week 1. And ever since then, dude, he just avoids contact. He doesn't want to get hit. I think he just has the heebie-jeebies at this point, man. My advice, package him in a deal. He is a nice, big, shiny name. He's a shiny turd, dude. He's a turd that you add in a trade package to make the trade seem better, to make it sound better, where the person that you're giving Brian Thomas to is like, oh shit, dude, the upside. What if he has another end of season run like he did last season with Mac Jones? That's what I did. I'm just going to let you guys know. I mean, this is just an example. Make sure you guys join the Discord, link down below. We're talking ball, dude. We're helping each other with trades. We're doing all that kind of good stuff. It's a dope little growing community. I traded Rome Odunze and Brian Thomas for Nico Collins. At a glance, on its surface, seems like a bad trade, right? I'm giving like 2, Rome Odunze is like a borderline wide receiver 1, I guess, is how people perceive him. And Brian Thomas, obviously the big name, he was like a top 24 pick. In my opinion, I'm getting rid of 2 guys who are pretty inconsistent for a guy that I know is going to get like 10 plus targets. He has a lot of red zone touchdown equity. That's just, now I don't have to start Brian Thomas. That's the way I viewed it. Maybe it's not the best trade. I probably could have got a little bit more on top of it, but that's what I did. Maybe you guys can do something similar, maybe for some inspiration. Let's move it along now to Derrick Henry, guys. Look, every time red zone would go to this Ravens game last week, it was fucking Lamar Jackson in like a designed run. I was like, dude, where is Derrick Henry? Like, I feel like I haven't seen this man on the field. But turns out he had 20 touches, right, for 75 yards, 3.75 yards per carry. That's not great, man. And I looked into the data, guys. 11th in yards before contact. Really good, right? Top 12 in yards before contact. That means the O-line is getting him opportunities, getting him space to run, getting him open windows. But he's 77th in yards after contact. Bro, what happened, man? I feel like Derrick Henry was known as like the stiff arm king, right? He's known as the guy who can get yards after contact. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's never been the best yards after contact guy, but it's concerning, man. Lamar Jackson returned in week 9, and it was like a perfect culmination, dude. It was like Miami matchup. Lamar is back. Derrick Henry has looked pretty decent when Lamar was gone, or he was still getting a lot of touches. And he had 12 fantasy points, right? Doesn't get into the end zone. And then 9 fantasy points against Minnesota. Tougher matchup. To be fair, in that Miami game, he was actually pretty good, right? 19 for 119. That's 6.26 yards per carry. He just doesn't get a touchdown, right? Doesn't get any receiving work to help you. So if he's not getting into the end zone, essentially he's like an RB3. He's going to get you like 11, 12 fantasy points if you're lucky, if he really hits like 120 rushing yards. So here's the thing, man. He's most likely going to be fine. Like, I just want to say they get Cleveland this week, which is brutal, but it's the Ravens. They can still get to the red zone, get to the goal line. He can still punch one in against them. They get the Jets, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati again. It looks like clear skies. Lamar's back. They're going to make a run for the playoffs. But I do want to say, man, if you get into the playoffs, let's say you're riding Derrick Henry. Let's say he gets you there. He's pretty good during the season. At the end of the day, that's what matters, right? You want a dude who's going to get us to the playoffs. Then it's anybody's game. But I just want to say, man, when we look at the fantasy playoffs, we do see that they get Cincinnati in that first week in week 15, awesome, amazing. We all know everybody eats against Cincinnati. But then we get New England and Green Bay, guys. So New England is 4th best against running backs. Green Bay is 6th best against running backs on the season. Both of those teams are absolutely brutal to play running backs against. Again, it could be fine with Derrick Henry, man. This is the Ravens. You know, their offense is very competent, very capable. They're going to be fighting for a playoff spot, most likely. Let's see what happens. I mean, they do play the Steelers twice. You know, they have to win some of their winnable games, and the Steelers have to lose some. So they can definitely flip the table on the Steelers. But I'm just a little bit concerned, man. He just doesn't look the same when I'm watching the tape. I think if you can sell him, you know, his perceived name value is a big name. They have an easy schedule. You can sell that to the fantasy owner. Lamar being back, like, there's a lot of narratives here that why Derrick Henry is like a buy candidate. I think if you can move him for like a Kyron Williams, Rico Dowdle, even, holy shit, James Cook, obviously, James Cook would be a tier up. You'd probably have to give up a little more. Or Bucky Irving is somebody that I think is a perfect target, right? Bucky Irving returned to practice. It was non-contact. We don't know when he's going to be back. But when he's back, he has one of the best schedules for running backs in both the playoffs and in the regular season. So Bucky Irving's the type of player that I want to try to get for Derrick Henry. And let's move this along now, guys. Got A.J. Brown up next. Look, we're in a different world, man. This is not your father's fantasy football industry, right? Like, we got a newsworthy soundbite from a Madden Twitch stream, guys. I want to show you this graphic here. This was from the Twitch stream. It was a quote that he had. "If you got me on fantasy, get rid of me." He had to then apologize the next day about that. He was shooting the shit with one of his friends on Twitch. They were playing Madden together. And he was like, yo, like, I hate it here, man. This shit blows. If you got me on fantasy, get rid of me, this offense. You heard the man, dude. If you got him on fantasy, get rid of him. Even though the Eagles have one of the best schedules for wide receivers rest of the season, like, they get Dallas, they get Chicago, right? Chargers, that's tough. Vegas, turns out that's a tough matchup, right? But then it's like Washington, Buffalo in the playoffs. It's really nice, right? It's really nice. I want to show you guys one more thing. It's a tweet here from Chris Wecht. What has changed for A.J. Brown in 2025? Separation skills have really taken a hit. Overall win rate is down 9.5%. Zone win rate down 7.8%. Man win rate down 5.5. Contested catches, or his targets are contested 9.3% more of the time. He's being used in the slot 9% less, and his deep and intermediate route usage are up 4 and 6% respectively. So that's a nice little picture that he painted here, Chris Wecht, about why A.J. Brown has been struggling. So, and, you know, the game log kind of shows it, right? Like, 1 fantasy point a week, 1 against Dallas, which we know is one of the best matchups now. And then, you know, 5 fantasy points. Then he explodes for 19. You're like, holy shit, is he back? And then 1 point again. Dude, he's one of the worst fantasy players to have because you know what he's capable of. If A.J. Brown were to get 10 targets, of which, let's say, 4 of them were from the slot, and they would use him as like an alpha wide receiver, he'd be like a top 5 fantasy football player, man. His talent, like, this is not a strike on his talent. This is a strike on him as a fantasy football asset, because every now and then he'll have like a week 7, right, where he went 4 for 121 and 2 touchdowns. Very pivotal catches, dude. Big time catches. It's just tough, man. It's tough to own a guy like him. If you can trade him off his name value and get somebody who's a little bit more usable, like, dude, I know this sounds crazy, but if you can get Chris Olave for A.J. Brown, I would do it, bro. I would do it tomorrow. We just know that Chris Olave is going to get his opportunities. He's going to get his catches. And we saw that Chris Olave actually has some big play potential, right? So I don't know. Again, go in the Discord. Let me know what trades you're thinking about conjuring up. And the boys, including myself, will try to do our best to help you out, conjure up some trades what you can do. Tetairoa McMillan, man. He's such a weird player, bro. He's great on film. He makes crazy ass fucking catches. And every week, I see his ass on a trade for video. Every single fantasy football channel is like, yo, you got to trade for Tetairoa McMillan, bro. On tape, dude. His yards, yards per route run. All the nerdiest fucking things you'd ever hear. Look, man, he had a game where he had 2 touchdowns. It's the only game where he had any touchdowns. And he still had motherfucking 16 fantasy points, dude. In a game with 2 touchdowns, you only have 16 fantasy points. We are fucking cooked, might I say, man. Rico Dowdle has become the cornerstone of this team. He's the first read in the end zone, in the red zone. They want to run the ball. They're a run-first team. Their pass rate over expectation, it's bad, right? This is a run-first team. They just want to use Rico. And Tetairoa McMillan is essentially a chain mover for them at this point. He's not the guy that the offense is built around. And honestly, I would consider trading him away, because not only does he get A.J. Terrell this week in a shadow corner matchup against Atlanta, who Atlanta's a pretty good defense sometimes. I mean, they just got fucking dick slapped by Jonathan Taylor for like 63 fantasy points, but this is a tough one, right? Shadow cover corner. against Atlanta, then a great matchup against San Francisco, but then the Rams. The Rams are a shutdown team. They'll shut down every wide receiver, every running back. They're just like a top 5 defense all around. And then there's a bye week, man. So he's essentially going to be bad or unusable or not playing for 3 weeks in the next 4 weeks. So I'd consider trading him away, man. If you can get somebody again who has a little bit more opportunities and production to go with it, like Olave, he's just a name that always pops up to me. Odunze is another one where you can maybe make a package, Tetairoa and a piece, move up to Odunze. I don't even know. I know he's talented. He's got the talent. He just needs a different system, a different quarterback, perhaps. This is a coaching staff that wants to run the ball. So his rankings just don't match his production. That's why I'm worried about him. Like every rest of season, rankings has him around guys that I'd really rather have ahead of him. Now let's close out this video with Jacory Croskey-Merritt, man. I'm about to cook on this man, dude. So the Commanders have the easiest rest of season schedule for running backs. Jacory Croskey was a massive trade for target, Miami, dude. I was talking about him in a couple videos, a couple weeks in a row. I will eat a big, gigantic dick on that call, dude. Give me that L. I thought it was going to be different, dude. I thought it was going to be better times. I thought Jaden Daniels would come back. And, after that 26-point performance against the Chargers, who I guess are just dog shit against running backs, he has been atrocious, dude. This team traded Brian Robinson away in the preseason because they were like super excited about Jacory Croskey-Merritt. And, there was like, they thought that they hit gold with this rookie. And I think Brian Robinson Jr., just in the last 2 weeks alone, has like more fantasy points than Bill has since week 6. This dude's horrendous, man. All of his efficiency metrics were so fucking good the first couple weeks of the season, right? He had like 8.2 yards per carry in week 1, then 4.2, 6.7, 7.9, 2 touchdowns. He had a touchdown opening week. He was cooking early on, man. I was like, bro, if this man gets more volume, he's going to be a league winner, dude. If the efficiency can stay, it's very rare that efficiency stays. Like Devon Achane is a player where his efficiency, his rookie season were fucking crazy. It was like 10 yards per carry. And, you just know that as volume increases, usually efficiency decreases. That's just how it is, right? Because you're going to get stuffed on a lot of your runs and stuff. But Jacory Croskey-Merritt, I think, is officially cooked, right? Jaden Daniels, he could be out for like 4+ weeks. We don't know. He's not on IR, so maybe he's back a little sooner than we thought. This man has no pass catching abilities. He's yet to have more than 2 targets in a single game. No efficiency anymore. No Jaden Daniels. I think he's officially toast at this point. I want to be fair to him, though. There's something that I did notice. They played Kansas City, Seattle, Detroit in the last 3 weeks. So that is a brutal gauntlet. All of those teams are top teams at defending running backs. So I think Jacory Croskey was a mirage, man. I think before the season, there's a lot of hype. A lot of fantasy Twitter nerds were like, dude, he's a hidden gem of this rookie draft, dude. He's been, Billy had a cool nickname. But when we look back, and we probably should have seen this coming. I want to get better next season, man. I want to be better at finding and scouting talent. I'm not the biggest X's and O's guys. I'm gonna be fully honest with you guys. Like I'm a fantasy football player. I'm not I played football like in high school. I was like a backup tight end where I played like 3 games, dude. I got tackled by someone. I fucking cried and quit like the next week. So I'm not saying I'm like a football mind or anything like that, dude. So 28th percentile bench press. 19th percentile agility score, 71st percentile 40-yard dash. He ran a 4.52, so he's not a burner. He's not agile. He's not strong. I think we should have seen this, man. We should have known that he just wasn't really a good running back. I mean, look, man, they made Chris Rodriguez. I don't even know who that is. The team captain in week 10, who's the running back ahead of him, got the touchdown. The only reason Jacory Croskey even had 11 carries in this last game was because Chris Ramirez got injured, or Chris Rodriguez. Chris Rodriguez got injured in that game, man. That's the only reason Bill was kind of thrust back into action. And he was just his normal, inefficient self, bro. 2.73 yards per carry. I think it's probably time we just forget about Croskey. If you have him on your team, bro, just throw him at the end of your bench. Drop him if you must. Like if Jose Rodriguez was on the waiver wire, bro, pick up Chris Rodriguez, dude. Pick him up because he's probably going to be the starter rest of the season. I will say this, Miami this week. Now, Miami is kind of a get-right opportunity for a lot of players. A lot of players beast and feast on them. But, Miami was actually really good against James Cook and the Bills last week. So it might not be the same smash, but then he has a bye week. And then it's like, fuck. And then Denver out of the bye. So, I don't know. I think these projections are fake, right? 9.26, 9.76. I don't think that's the case, man. There's a couple of nice matchups here on the docket, but a lot of really bad ones, right? They get like the Giants, great. Philadelphia, horrible. Dallas, maybe good. I don't know. Maybe their defense is better. So I don't know. It was an easy schedule on paper, but I don't think it really is without Jaden Daniels. So that does it. 5 players I am worried about. Maybe you should trade these guys away. Maybe you should consider benching them rest of the season. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. If there are other players that you're worried about, truly, I want you guys to let me know in the comments so we can go back and forth. Join the Discord if you guys are looking to trade some of these players away. Maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you want to trade for these guys. Maybe you really like the schedule. Maybe you think they're going to turn it around. I want to hear from you guys. Join the Discord, get your questions answered, talk ball with a bunch of sharp dudes, man. I just want to say, man, I've been giving them props the last couple of videos. I want to do it again, dude. The Discord is dope. It's one of my favorite parts of this fantasy football channel. I've been loving talking ball with you guys. So I just want to say that again, man. For anybody who's thinking about joining, make sure you guys join. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.